it sounds like there's a lot of challenges. So how do you market this? So you talked, Shay, about doing the marketing and kind of being involved in that piece.
Yeah.
How do you market? Like, how do you...
I go to a lot of events
Okay.
that address Africa
Mm-hmm.
and international development, and just try to see who can help us out.
Mm-hmm.
And so far, we've had a lot of people who've been receptive and want to deal with it, but it's also challenging because a lot of times projects have already been started and money have already been allocated for those projects, and it's hard to find partnerships. But we've had a couple of successes so far, and we're hoping to get better.
Can you talk about some of the successes you guys have had?
Okay, so we just completed a project for CTA. CTA is an agriculture-focused donor. They are based out of Netherlands, and they. How did we get on the project? We went to an event where we met a researcher called Lee Babcock. He is based out of Maryland. He runs a firm called LHB Associates, and we got talking. We talked to him about our platform, what we're doing in Africa, and how we have a unique solution that can allow researchers, for example, to be able to get opinions of some of their respondents on a whole variety of issues. And it piqued interest right away just because we were mobile focused, but the fact that we also were not internet dependent, and we addressed issues such as literacy and cost. He felt that we might be able to be a better platform for him to conduct his next research. So we worked on a proposal together to the city, and the idea was for him to be able to conduct a survey on some cassava farmers in certain parts of the country on the use of mobile money in their trade. And there was no better tool to use than Cryout, in the sense that we can reach the entire country. And the fact that some of these farmers might not be able to read and write, but they could speak local languages like Hausa and Yoruba. So we got on the project and were able to target those states, and were able to identify the initial set of respondents for them to be able to conduct face-to-face meeting with. And that all started from some of the networking we do here that translated to opportunities to be able to showcase what our platform can do.
Oh, wow. Okay.
In Nigeria.
That's excellent. And so in terms of, you started a little bit with saying, it's a rough environment. What other pieces of advice would you give entrepreneurs who are trying to start out?
Oh, I think the best piece of advice is to just start.
Okay.
If you start, you would learn a lot. I can tell you for a fact that I know more about what we do now and what we should be doing and what the opportunities are today than I knew 4 or 5 years ago when we were just playing around with a couple of models. The other thing I would also say is regulations change a lot. One of the recent challenges we have was that the NCC, that is in charge of communication in Nigeria, just came up with new policies. So being able to stay on top of those changes and be able to make sure that your model can adapt. So they are moving to a stricter model where consumers of telecom services opt into those services, just so that they can cut down noise in the sector, they can cut down spam in the industry. And so we are having to reposition some parts of our system to be able to support some of these regulations.
Okay.
So the key thing is to start, stay on top of regulations, and then network. The idea stage is a good thing, but turning it to a business and a profitable business, is where the real work is.
All right.
And it's also good for startups to also have a prototype that they can approach people with as well and see the response. Are people interested in this product? That will help them be able to gauge how good the service
and that's
is.
a good point, actually.
Yes.
Because if from what I was telling you earlier, each of our products have been as a result of the feedback we get from people. Crowdly would not have existed if people didn't tell us they needed a way to know their balance and their airtime. Cry out would not have existed if not that when people started using Crowdly, they needed to leave feedback.
Okay.
And that's how we got into Crowd. So
Okay.
each of our ideas have been given to us
Okay.
by our users. So another thing is, as you start to prototype and get feedback or listen to your audience, your next pivot point might be actually provided to you by some of those feedback.
So the way you guys are framing this, it almost sounds like you also have the potential of doing like marketing. So you have a lot of agencies where all that they do is do surveys and they see how responsive people are. And it sounds like you have a platform that might even be very appealing to them. So is that an angle you've thought about?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
If you look at what we do with clients. Yes,
Can you show us? Sorry.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, you turned it
Yes,
around.
we call it feedback gathering. But it's also a sort of a data collection tool. Well, it's a data collection tool, just that people are not sitting online to fill that information. People are picking their phones, they are using their local languages to give you feedback, to give you data that you might need. And when that data comes in, we translate it, we transcribe it, and then we can feed it into your backend system. So what you will see here is a geographical representation of some of the feedback that are coming into the system. And a lot of them are in local languages. So what you have here is a filter that allows you to filter what your interest is. If you want to hear from women from certain parts of the country, you can type the locations you are interested in, and then you can pick the languages and the category of feedback or category of data, and then you do a search, and that would narrow it down specifically to just women that match that category, and then you can hear their opinion or get the data or the feedback that they want to provide. So really, Cryout is a voice-based data collection tool that allows you to gather that data in local languages without the need for internet, without the need for literacy, and at the comfort of whatever location you are, from the most rural residents in that region.
Great. Well, thank you for talking to me today.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, thank you. All right.